Well, greetings everybody. Recently, Bose reached out, yes, that Bose of speaker fame, asking if I would take a look at their video conferencing solution. Now, at first I probably had the same question that you might be having. What does a speaker company know or doing in the video conferencing space? But then I thought about it more and realized that actually makes a lot of sense. Video quality in a video conference is obviously important, but audio quality, I would argue, is even more important. If you can see somebody, great, which is a pretty easy problem to solve today with the cameras and things that are available. But being able to hear somebody and be able to be heard by somebody on the other end really is the critical part of any kind of video conferencing experience. If you can't hear somebody, it doesn't really matter if you could see them. So the fact that a speaker and an audio company was getting involved in this, especially one as big and prestigious as Bose, I'm like, that's actually really interesting. So they actually sent me this, which is their Videobar VB-S. They've actually been selling it for quite a while, but they've been mostly selling it to integration companies and people who do kind of professional level installations of video conferencing products. And it really is a professional level product, and I'll show you some stuff over here in a minute and why I say that. But they also now want to sell it directly to consumers. And so you can find it on Amazon and, all those sorts of places too. So I want to give the Videobar S a bit of a once-over, put it through its paces, see what it can do, and see if it is the right solution for many of us who have needs in the video conferencing space. So first, let's look at what you get with your Videobar, and then we'll plug it in and see how it works. Before we go any further though, do think about liking and subscribing. It does mean a lot to me in this channel. It helps us keep doing what we're doing. So like and subscribe right now. Okay, let's look at the Videobar. All right, so here's everything you get with your Videobar VB-S. You get the bar itself, which has got some decent heft to it, which I would not be surprised by. There's probably some really decent speaker technology going on in there. We'll take a look at that a little closer in a minute. You also get your AC adapter, which actually looks really nice and has some Bose branding on it, and which, so if you have to have it out somewhere you can see, at least it doesn't look too bad. A very, very long USB-C cable and to USB-A. So I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's a very long cable, and it's actually a very nice quality cable, I can tell. Additionally, you get mounting hardware. One of the ways that Bose anticipates using this is either on the desktop, as you can see as it is now, but it also comes with this mounting bracket and mounting plate that allows you to mount it on a wall, say below a TV, in like a small group workspace or, something like that. That is just a really nice addition. You don't always get that. The other thing that's a really great addition is you get all the hardware. So you get all of your mounting hardware and screws and bolts and everything you're going to need in order to mount this thing, including a wall plate. I was wondering what this like white rectangular thing was. Well, it's a wall plate that you can use to hide your cables. So say you have this mounted above or below your television in a small group workspace. You can actually use that plate to disguise the cables going down to the unit itself. And of course it's white because that's probably what your walls are painted in your drab, boring office. All right, in addition, you do get a remote. This is obviously a bespoke remote just for this product. It's got a really kind of nice feel to it and a lot of the things you would expect to find. Ability to zoom, mute, and things like that. So the equipment that comes with it is pretty impressive. So now let's look at the bar itself and how it works as far as its inputs and outputs and all of that goes. All right, so let's take a close-up look at the Videobar here. Like I said before, it's got some heft to it, which is actually kind of nice to see. There isn't a lot to see, though, in terms of things like inputs and outputs, because it is a Videobar. I mean, it's a webcam and speaker combination in its most basic form. So you don't need a whole lot either. So around back here, We've got the space where you've got, you know, your USB-C input, which is nice to see USB-C. That is really the standard these days. Your AC input for your power, which makes sense. You have these little flanges right here that actually lock into that mounting hardware that I showed you before. You can set this in the mounting hardware in a way that you could like easily remove it if you want to, or I think you can lock it into place as well if you were worried about it wandering off. And then finally, you've got a standard tripod mount on the bottom, which is useful if you especially want to move it around, or if you've got it on a desk but want to get it, say, elevated off of just desk height a little bit higher. You can use really any standard mounting thing for that, tripod thing for that. All right. So what we have in this area right here is, first and foremost, dead center. Of course, we've got the camera, as you expect to find. This is a 4K Ultra HD camera that's set for a pretty wide angle for its default shot, which again makes sense. It can digitally zoom in on different parts of the scene. We'll play with that in a little bit when we get hooked up to the computer. But it is a 4K compatible camera, which is great to see, even though a lot of video conferencing today is still 1080. You know, 4K is the future, so having it is wonderful. And then on either side, flanked on either side by the speakers, which of course are the main show when it comes to a Bose product. One of the interesting things that was in the literature and they told me about is Bose actually uses a different sound profile depending on what you are doing at the time. If you are in video conferencing mode on a video conferencing call, it's actually going to use a different sound profile with the speakers, basically removing some of the bass and some of the stuff that you don't want in that environment when it's, you know, it's mostly you're talking about spoken voices and things like that. Versus when you're using it to say as a Bluetooth speaker, which you can do, or to play audio or video files on your computer. The nice thing about this is it really can become not only your webcam and video conferencing solution for your computer, it's a Bose product with Bose speakers in it, so it can just become the speakers for your computer when you're not using the video conferencing function, and use it to listen to music or stream video or audio or whatever it is you're doing. And it actually switches into a different mode when you do that. That is a better profile for things like, you know, listening to videos and music and stuff like that. And again, we'll take a look at that in a little bit. Finally, around the outside here, kind of behind this grill area, there's actually a 4-speaker array that is capturing the audio in the room for your video conferencing. It's a wide-angle array, so it can capture everything around it, but it also has the ability then to also zoom in a way, kind of like an audio zoom, into the areas where people are actually speaking. So we'll actually, you know, change which microphone it is listening to more depending on who in the room is speaking, and so you get more of the voices you want and less of the background noise that you don't want. Apparently in the software you can also set up exclusion zones where you can say, hey, there's this noisy photocopier or whatever, and it's always going to be like right to your right or left of you, and you can say, don't listen over there because that's a noise we don't actually want, and instead concentrate on listening on all the other areas. So it's really touches like that and the audio quality of this product that I'm really the most excited to really look at and play with, because I think that's the thing that is going to distinguish a Bose product from other manufacturers. All right, let's get it hooked up now and put it through some tests. All right, so I have literally just taken this thing out of the box and plugged it into my computer. I haven't played with any of the settings or adjusted anything with the remote or anything like that. But my computer had no problem recognizing it as both a video device and an audio input and output device. And this is what you get when you're sitting, I'm about 18 inches away, about where you would if you were using this as an individual video conferencing solution, as basically just a really fancy webcam, which is something they intend and expect you to be able to do with it. And I'm pretty impressed with the quality right now. The audio quality, as you expect, is just absolutely superb, both, I think, on the recording end and also on the listening end when I'm playing these back. So from this perspective, no big surprise, it works really well. What I want to do now is actually take it into our kind of dedicated video conferencing space and load it up as most of us would be using it in a Zoom call. All right, so I'm over in our kind of dedicated video conferencing and teaching space. I've set myself up about 10 feet away from the camera itself. Again, plugged it into the computer here, was immediately recognized, no problem. Fired up Zoom, saw it, no problem. And that's actually what you're watching now. This is a recorded Zoom call where I'm using the microphones on the video bar itself. It immediately, upon firing up, zoomed in on me, knowing that I was here. It's got some pretty decent intelligence as far as that is concerned. And this setup is probably about as extreme as Bose expects you to get. This really is more of a personal or small group huddle space. Our space here is probably a bit more than that. So we're really kind of testing the edges of what it can do. So if I'm standing here, or sitting here, it seems to be picking me up just fine. The audio quality is actually pretty good for how far away that I am. But I'm curious what happens if I move. So if I come over here and start talking, hey, look at that. It finds me, which is fantastic. Now, this camera is obviously pretty wide angle, and I'm sitting really right at the most extreme part of its wide angleness. So there's a little bit of distortion, but really not that bad and not really distracting at all. And I would say it's capturing a good amount of this room. So what happens though if I go over there? And now if I start talking over here, the 4 microphone array is able to pick me up and swing its camera around digitally. The camera's not actually moving to see where I am. And again, I've kind of parked myself at the extreme edge of what it can do, but you know, that seems to work okay. Just a quick note, Bose does offer a smartphone app and software for your computer to control multiple video bars. This video is already getting a little bit long, so I'm going to post that in a separate video, so look for that if you are interested. All right, so this is, of course, a Bose speaker product, so we have to listen to the speakers. Let's listen to a couple of sample audio tracks courtesy of the YouTube audio library. All right, so what do we think of the Bose Videobar S? Well, honestly, it does what it says it does, and it does it really well. I was surprised by the quality of the audio, both the microphone audio especially. When I talked to them, I think they were kind of underplaying its performance in that world, but definitely works as good or better than most of the other things I've seen, even in those slightly larger room situations than maybe they actually designed it for. In a smaller room, individual setting, huddle room, you know, kind of thing, it's going to be an excellent choice, especially in the audio quality, both in the input and of course in the output. It's a Bose product. It sounds great. I'm not sure how well it translated to being mic'd, but I can tell you in the room, listening at a volume I would normally listen to music at, the audio quality was fantastic. I have some dedicated, really nice speakers hooked up to my computer, and I think it really gave it a run for its money in a really small package. So for the audio quality you're getting, the video quality you're getting in what really is a really kind of small package, it's really impressive. And to say nothing about the software, the professional tools, if you need those kinds of things, the mounting brackets, if you need that as well, is all there and included for you. And all of this for a sub $1,000 price point. A lot of what would probably be kind of its more direct competitors, especially in the group video conferencing space, are going to be north of $1,000. So the fact that you can get all of that quality for south of $1,000 is pretty good. And when a good, high quality, decent webcam, from like Logitech or someplace like that is going to run you into the few hundreds all by itself, why not step up a little bit to something like this? Only drawback I could see is one would be portability. It's not as portable as some other solutions would be. It's going to take up a little bit of desk space, more so than a camera that's just going to, like, say, mount on top of your screen. So you got to take those kind of things in consideration. But for a fixed place, for a desk environment where it's someplace where you are doing most of your video conferencing from, it's a great solution for that. Or if you do need a portable solution for small groups, some of the solutions out there are a lot larger and probably don't travel as well. This you could throw into a backpack if you needed to. So if you're doing small group work on the go or things like that, where you need something to bring with you, a little bit more than just your webcam on your laptop, then it would be a great addition to that. In that case, it would actually be fairly portable and easy to use. So Bose Videobar S, actually I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to actually integrating it into my standard setup at my house. I think my regular webcam might actually end up having to go in a drawer because this guy, I think, is going to replace it. All right, well, if you are interested in checking this out more, do use the links in the description below. Those really do help support me and this channel and do the things that we do. Of course, like and subscribe. And until I see you again, have a great day. Hey everybody, if you found that video helpful, please hit like and subscribe, and also check the video description for links to any products you've seen in today's videos. Doing that really helps support this channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment with any questions that you may have. A lot of the content I do is based directly on the questions and the feedback you give, so keep that coming and I will keep making them. Thank you.